Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today. Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today. All
right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass podcast with Kevin and Chuck. Today, we're going to talk about everyday carry.
Chuck, what is everyday carry?
Well, everyday carry, we're talking about two different things. Everyday carry could be what type of gun you carry every day. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm looking for my everyday carry gun. People worry about something they can have concealed, what the right thing is on that. But I think more, we're going to touch on that. But more what our focus is, everyday carry. What do you need to be prepared just to deal with life? And whatever life might throw at you. You know, you might get stuck, stranded somewhere. You might need to help out a friend. You might need to help out somebody with a flat tire. You know, any of these things come up, you should be ready. You know, you're a prepper. You should be a little bit prepared to deal with life. You know, that's, I guess, where I want to go. Tell me what you're thinking.
Well, you know, most people have an everyday carry, you know, wallet, keys, phone, smartphone. I mean, obviously, everybody should be carrying these things.
Now, with me, it's different. Like, I have stuff that's in my truck every day. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be near me, but not on my person. And I have two different things, you know, for that. One thing that's like my above and beyond in the truck, and one is actually on my person.
Right. I think that's you know, the basic go-to. Any place you go, you're going to bring your vehicle with you, for the most part.
Or I'm going to be at home with my vehicle or
right.
Whatever, you know, it's always somewhere.
You know, I try and keep a basic bug-out bag in the car with me. Along with my everyday carry, you know, just a simple pocket knife.
Okay, so let's start with that, like on your person.
Yeah. When I get up in the morning, I get my basics, you know. A lot of people always can't find their keys and can't find their blah, blah, blah. Don't be a retard.
No.
When you come home, take all your stuff, put it in the same spot every day.
Put it on the nightstand, put it on the key hook, put it wherever.
In the same spot. You're never looking for it. You're never running around like a chicken without a head looking for your stuff at 5 a.m. when you're trying to get to work.
That's good. I like that.
So, what I like to have is just a basic folding pocket knife. You know, I carry my phone with me. Smartphone's a good thing to have. You've got your internet access. You can look up the information you need to have with you on a day-to-day use. You know, I got my leather Thundercats wallet.
Ooh.
It's fancy. I'm a little fancy.
You are fancy.
And then, you know, my basic set of keys. That's what I put in my pocket before I walk out the door.
Okay. Now that sounds pretty typical.
Mm-hmm.
You usually have a lighter. I know people have heard it in the podcast.
Yep. Usually have a lighter with me. You know, in the car, when I sit down in the car, I've got my iPod so I can listen to my podcasts, you know, like I'm sure a lot of you guys do. It's where I get most of my listening done in the car.
You know, I've heard that 100% of our listeners have listened to a podcast.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. That's a staggering statistic.
Yeah.
But
you know what it is the Prepping Badass listeners are, you know, the cutting edge of society.
Right. High tech.
High tech. Mm-hmm. They're all techies.
Mm-hmm. Bunch of nerds.
So, no, not bad. I mean, that's honestly, I mean, pretty typical. I listen to, I actually, you know me, I always do my research before a show and try and see what all the other guys are talking about and what they carry. And
word on the street.
Oh, dude, you know what it is? They're all wearing the Hulk Hogan fanny pack.
The fanny pack, I keep hearing about this. I can't do the fanny pack.
I can't do the fanny pack. I did listen to one.
Jesse Ventura.
This girl.
Very pro fanny pack.
Pro fanny pack. And that, it expands the size of the gun you might be able to carry on your, person, whatever. All right. So I think, well, first let me touch on, the other guys. The guy in a podcast I heard was like, oh, my grandmother always carries a hat pin in case she has to stick somebody. And I'm like, that's a pretty great idea.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
You don't want to mess with your granny when she pulls a hat pin.
They're talking about,
hat pin has AIDS on it.
They're talking about big first aid kits. They're talking about, all this stuff. And I got to say, I'm my person. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And my vehicle usually is close by, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I'm not carrying around bandages and this and that on my person for my normal going to work. I'm not talking about in the woods going hunting. I'm talking about day to day.
Right.
When I leave the house, 99% of the time, and it should be 100, I have a gun with me. Mm-hmm. I have my Leatherman on my tool belt, which honestly, being somebody who pays attention to survival skills, having spent some time, having been a Boy Scout, I can, there's not much else I need. It's like you see, MacGyver, and I'm not freaking MacGyver. He's awesome. That guy's a freaking genius, like I could ever be at his level. But what I'm saying is, you got to be able to use, what's around you,
right,
and take things in. Just having your mind is really, the most essential thing with everyday carry. You should be prepared. But back to where we were going here. I grab my keys, I grab my gun, I grab my ID, but just for the gun. I don't have the big wallet or whatever. I just keep a card in my pocket. I have a lighter. I've been thinking after listening to other guys' podcasts, they talk about neck knives. And now I have the Leatherman, so it doesn't matter. But what I was thinking is I know I had mentioned here before, I bought for the kids those little flashlights that clip on their book bags.
Right.
I was thinking it might be cool to take like a dog tag chain and throw that light on the neck.
Uh-huh.
And if you're somebody who either can't have a Leatherman on your belt or just doesn't, do that kind of thing, I think having some kind of neck knife wouldn't be a bad idea. Now, not these, I see these ones that are an inch long or something. I don't know what you may as well have a toothpick, that doesn't even make sense to me.
Right.
You're better off picking up a sharp stick off the ground than, some 1-inch little knife that, you think is clever. But I think if you could have, I don't think you'd notice it if it was dangling a little, 3-inch, pocket knife, something like that.
Right.
It's got to be something somebody makes out there that's pretty good. I usually have a pen, and I usually have the iPhone, but that's about it on my person. Some of the other things I heard, people always want to have cash. I always have cash. Yeah. In the ones I was listening to, they were like, oh, we should carry a 20. I don't know. I usually have a lot more than 20 in my pocket. Mm-hmm. One of the other things, I know with my kids, when they first got their car, I just stuck $3 in the glove box so they can pay the toll to get over the bridge or, whatever little thing. Maybe it's $20, maybe it's $100. I don't know that they ever need $20 or $100. I guess, if they run out of gas, maybe. I don't know. My kids kind of roll. My kids kind of roll like me, where they usually have cash in their pocket.
Right.
I've taught them to be that way. So, having a little extra in the glove box shouldn't make the difference. But maybe not a bad idea. I know with my wife, having sticking a 20 in her glove box that she doesn't know about, probably not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Back in my younger years, I used to keep in the glove box emergency vodka.
Well, come on.
Not anymore though. It's gotten a little bit more dangerous. You don't want that to come rolling out when
you go for your license and registration.
Right.
Now I see why the NWA in the previous podcast. Mm-hmm. Maybe the fault lies with you and not with the police.
Maybe. My glove box is usually, I usually have the basic stuff. They make sure you have your insurance updated and your registration. I keep, Tylenol and stuff because I'm an old man. I keep Tylenol and things in there. The basic stuff there. I usually keep a survival knife under my front seat. Not the best if the cops are searching your car.
Yeah, but
it's something to have.
You know what? Under the front seat seems kind of sneaky. You know what I was thinking? In my work van, now in my pickup, in the door you have the pocket kind of thing. In there I have, in my pickup, I have that Gerber, the hunting one with the gut hook and the all that. I have, I think, some pen knives. I have a Leatherman. I have, believe it or not, in both of my vehicles and the wife's vehicle, I have Quick Clot.
Oh, yeah?
And you know what? Actually, I just upgraded. I swapped them all out. I had the old school Quick Clot, and now they have it in a sponge. So now you're not picking like little gunpowder out of the wound afterward. Okay. Turns out they can just pull the sponge out, and it's no problem.
Okay.
They've big advances there, and actually the prices come down. So I actually do have Quick Clot and Israeli bandage. But again, this is in the vehicle. I have a, I think it's Bactine. Some kind of little spray disinfectant. Turns out I cut my hands like 20 times a day.
Yeah. And
my hands are like laying in sewage or, God knows what. It just makes my wife happy, and I kind of feel a little better having the Bactine spray. If you don't see a little
bit of your own blood every day, you're not really working.
And that's it. I just, the other day I was fixing this washing machine, and I swear that it was so disgusting underneath there. Let me tell you. It smelled like if you had like a can of tuna and you pissed in it and you left it there for about a week. That's what it smelled like in these people's house. And I'm like, what the hell?
People are disgusting.
I'm reaching, now mind you, they're paying. This little excursion cost them about $300. But I'm reaching under there, and sure enough, I come out with a big freaking gash on my arm. It's pretty healed now. But, and I'm like laying in the cat piss or whatever. And I'm like, that's gross. So, something like that.
Right.
It seems like the right move. Hand sanitizer in the work van for basically the same reasons.
Right.
I'm not really one of these paranoid freaks. It's only in my work van, but I'm in some pretty gross stuff. So it ends up, seeming relevant to me. So basic first aid. Sometimes there's Band-Aids. Believe it or not, I usually use electrical tape.
To me, that's always.
It does sometimes leak out of the electrical tape. It's kind of weird. I did have some radiator issues and ended up adding that Gorilla Tape to the pickup, and I have Gorilla Tape in the work van. Both my vehicles have a socket set. All my glove boxes, every vehicle I own has a screwdriver, a small crescent wrench. I think a Phillip and a flat screwdriver, and they all have a Leatherman.
Right.
Those seem like pretty typical. Now, my pickup does have a bit of a bug out bag already in it all the time. It's got like a sleeping bag, but it's not really that tough. It's a blanket. All my glove boxes have those emergency blankets that are pretty much useless, but they're kind of neat for making a shelter. Right. They're not going to keep you warm. Yeah. I know what they say on the package.
But they're small, they're light, you can stick it in the glove box. And that's a handy thing.
And the same thing, I have a poncho in my pickup. I don't in the work van, but I usually have a Carhartt jacket with a hood, even in the summer, just kind of always tucked in the back of the work van.
Right.
So when it's raining or whatever, I can just grab that and be good to go. Now, anything you want to add to your vehicle carry, I guess?
Oh, yeah, no, I've got tons of stuff, man.
Oh, so I'm not at your level.
Yeah,
I see. So I didn't cover where you are.
I come correct with my vehicle stuff.
Well, bring it like a prepper. Let's hear about it.
I always have change of clothes.
Okay.
Pants, sweatshirt, couple of pairs of socks.
But you're known to fall in the poo.
Yeah, no, I get wet every day. Probably.
All right, so
flashlight mandatory. I have a big toolbox that I keep in the back, and that's got all the basic stuff along with flashlights. I've got a socket set separate than that. Jumper cables.
Well, my vehicles have jumper cables and flashlights.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that.
Right. An extra third knife I keep in the back.
Oh, no, it's a third knife.
Well,
you had to one up my
knife,
2 knives.
A pocket knife or survival knife in the car, and another knife in the back, because you never know when you're going to run out,
never
right?
No.
Pen and paper. Usually I have tent and sleeping bag. They're not in there right now. Not in there right now.
All right, you're slacking a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It was set up in my backyard and whatever. Water.
Okay.
Always keep bottles of water back there. Extra food. Usually just some granola bars and things like that. And cash. Cash is I don't use cash very often.
Okay.
But I always have cash because you don't know when there's going to be power outage, or you go to that stupid diner you just happen to stop by on the way home from work and it's cash only. Who runs a business like that? Seriously. But you got to have cash for the tolls and for everything else that you're not thinking about.
Right.
It comes up. It comes up. So that's pretty much the entirety of my car. And I try and keep it well stocked, I don't
What do you mean well stocked?
well, I mean, I'll drink a bottle of water every day on the way home from work.
Got it.
So it's not there's not
Yeah, I don't really have
ever let
any
there be a
food in
shortage.
any of my vehicles.
Yeah.
I don't really think about it. You know what? I stand corrected. I just bought who is it? My Patriot Supply has the 3-day, emergency kit. I think they had a special for $10.
I've got some MREs. You could throw an MRE in there.
It was 3 days of food for $10 or something. I think I bought 3 of them. Threw one in the bug out bag and threw one in each vehicle.
Uh-huh.
And not my work van, which is where I am all the time, which would only make sense, but in the pickup and in the
But if you're bugging
ladies'
out, you're
car.
not jumping in the work van anyway, so
Correct.
that's all right. Now, one thing that I just added.
Okay.
Now I have a saw, a couple of things like that in the toolbox. One thing I just added was some bulky bolt cutters.
Yeah, I knew you were excited about the bolt cutters.
I was talking about it for a while, and you never know when you're gonna have to cut somebody's lock off of your stuff,
Now,
man.
K-Bar makes some kind of breaching tool.
Oh, I don't
It's
know
about $55.
Uh-huh.
And it looks pretty badass, and I think that's going to move into my pickup kind of neighborhood.
What is a breaching tool? Are you talking like one of those battering rams the SWAT team
Kind
has,
of
or
a
what?
pry bar,
Uh-huh.
but also works for, I think it's got AR-15 wrench on there, and, the whole thing.
Okay.
It kind of was an all-around
All-around badass tool?
badass tool for, entry.
Right.
I don't know. Stuff like that. Any more?
The only thing I forgot was a hatchet. Hatchet I keep in the back.
I like that. Now, this ties me into my next kind of segment,
Okay.
if you will. I think these are standard every day, all year long, all the time, what we're carrying, what's in our car. Now, these things change. I mean, again, those are the basics.
Mm-hmm.
But then we'll add things as seasons change, or where we're going to be, or what we're doing, or even the climate,
Right.
When I hear terror attacks and things, I'm maybe a little more apt to make sure the gun is there. I might even have 2 guns.
Mm-hmm.
I might have the 22 on my person and have the 45 in the truck.
Right.
Sometimes I have the 45 on my person, whatever. But
It's hard to do
I might have the
during
backup.
summer and
45's
and
tough
concealed.
and be concealed, exactly. So that's definitely something. I know around hurricane season around here, we have bad weather with, in the fall, we get snow, ice storms. If I really think that's coming or if we just had one, I very often will throw the chainsaw in the back of the work van, in the back of the pickup, and I stop and, there's a tree in the road. I stop, I get out, I cut it up. That's actually happened to me probably 20 times in the last 10 years.
Right.
I mean, I drive a lot of back roads, a lot of weird places.
You're driving all the way
it's
around.
that or you're driving around the mountain.
Right.
And it's like, shit. So you got to kind of take into account where you're going to be.
Right.
I think,
I
know
the winter,
my wife definitely keeps big, bulky sleeping bags in her car. And she was doing that long before she met me. And she's like, you never know.
Right.
And she's like, I'm not freezing on the side of the road. And you know what? That's just good advice. Mm-hmm. Having a blanket and stuff there.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. During the summer, I usually keep towels and things in my car. Just because you never know when you're going to want to go skinny dipping, man. Swimming. Yeah. So
swimming.
You got to keep towels in the car. Nobody wants to.
I did see it in that movie, Wild Hogs.
Yeah. But I had a friend of mine that got in trouble. He was at a Mets game.
All right.
For some reason. And,
right there is where he went wrong.
Yeah, they stuck around. They got rained out. He was soaking wet. And had to drive home in his boxer shorts. And got some dirty looks from toll booth keepers. But it is what it is. If you have a towel, it's not so bad. If you have a change of clothes, it's not so bad.
Sounds right. Now, how about on your person? Does it change at all when you're going hiking? What are you carrying? What are you adding to the initial list?
Yeah, well, on my person...
I'm not talking about like your camping supplies.
Right,
I'm talking about you're going on a 4-hour hike with the family.
Actually, there's one thing other that I do. You brought it up about the hiking.
Okay.
Some of my work involves climbing around up in the mountains and things like that.
You're a tough guy, so.
So I started keeping these. They're kind of like cleats. I don't know what you would call them, but they've got like a thick rubber band around the edge with chains linking along the bottom, and you wrap them around your boots.
I've used those myself.
Keep you from falling on your ass. And those stay in my car just because I don't think about.
You're lazy.
They're so small. I don't think about taking them out during the summer, and they're always there when I need them.
Okay.
But if I'm, going out for a day hike or something like that, on my person, usually have a Camelback, with some water.
Okay. I like the water.
Some granola bars. I like to bring actually Red Bull to feed my kid because I think it's funny. I don't want him bouncing off the walls, at my house. But if you're out in the woods, why not? Feed that kid some caffeine and see what happens. He's gonna have to poop because he's not used to that sort of caffeine, and that's always funny.
All right.
He was telling me recently that he doesn't poop at school.
No.
He only poops at the house.
A lot of my kids were only home poopers.
Yeah, no, that's crazy because this week alone, I pooped in a cinder block. Like I have zero qualms about when it comes and it's time to go. You gotta go. I just was going along the woods there along the side of the road and just cut through some weeds and started running, and I came across a cinder block.
That's excellent.
Problem solved.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
I would say a compass.
Compass is good.
You're hiking. Yep. It's easy. You throw it in the pocket.
Yep. You can get them for a couple of dollars at any place.
If I'm hiking to the extent that I have a bag, I'm going to have a map of the local area. But if I don't, I probably won't. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm being honest here. I'm telling you guys, I'm not trying to be, macho man. I'm realistic, man. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Like I said, I don't carry around the fanny pack with the, the fishing lures and the, everything else.
Right, because you're a man and you're not going to get lost in the woods.
I'm not going to get lost in the woods. We mentioned it,
Right.
But I carry the Leatherman, and you know what? I can work out catching fish. Honestly, when you're around a creek or something, making little fish traps with stones and putting the fish where you want them to be seems like so much a better plan to me than wasting your time with a freaking fishing pole and a hook. That or I'm spearing it or...
Oh, I know. I have a lot of friends that always carry the... You know what they do is they take the kiddie poles.
Yep,
The ones that are like, 5 feet long altogether, and you can disassemble it and stick it on the side of their pack. If there's ever going to be any sort of lake along the way, they take it. I'm not big on that, but
no.
I'd rather bring my own food and know I'm going to eat.
I like it. I know back when I was in the Navy, they used to break out the kiddie pool and put it on the deck. Mm-hmm. But maybe that's a different thing. I don't know.
Pole, kiddie pole.
Oh, like the kiddie pole.
The kids' fishing pole.
Oh.
Maybe I need to articulate my words a little bit.
I think you're not enunciating properly. That or I'm just a mean bastard or I'm deaf, one or the other.
Well, it's both of those.
It's a fine line, right?
Problems. Yeah. So now we're talked about a little bit about winter. You want to get
winter.
more
Tell
in
me.
depth with that? I like to keep those heat packs. Those heat packs.
Yeah, like those. Yep.
Shake them up a little bit. And you can stick them in your pocket.
They're great in the glove box in the winter. Maybe you leave them there all year long. Depends how much space you have.
Right. If you get stuck out in the cold, your car breaks down on a road that
bad.
Most people aren't on. It's nice to have an extra little source of heat.
I just set the fucker on fire. I'm setting my truck on fire. I don't care. Burn it. I tell you, I always thought, I'm never going to get stuck. I have 4-wheel drive. And, dude, I take my truck everywhere. And I never have a problem. And I know about 2 years ago, I went to do a repair. I was in, my own pickup. And it hadn't actually snowed in, maybe a week. So I'm like, oh, I'm good. But this is way up in the mountains.
Right.
Not somewhere I typically am. And so anyway... I go, and this road is just solid ice, the whole thing. And it's down, a pretty steep grade, and it's just all ice. But I'm like, yeah, the 4-wheel drive. And you're thinking, well, you're going to slide. But what I didn't take into account is it was a little warmer, and it was just all wet on top of this ice. But again, there's like a foot of snow on either side. And I'm like, yeah, but I'll slide into the snow. And then I'll put it in 4-wheel drive and I'll drive out through the snow. That's how it played out in my mind.
Okay.
Let me tell you how it really played out. So I'm like, well, let's just see what happens. And I pull forward about 5 feet onto the ice. And my truck freaking, I just hit the gas, just freaking starts going right down. And right over the bank and right down into some trees. Luckily, no dents or scratches. Not that you know on my truck. But no dents or scratches. And I sit between 2 trees. And I'm like, oh, shit. Didn't see that coming. And the same thing. There's no phone signal up there.
Right.
There's no houses. Nobody lives this road. Everybody knows. You don't fucking go there if... Mm-hmm. And it's funny. The people who lived on the road, they weren't even there. They don't live there. I was just going to the house. It was empty. And I was going to go do the repair and leave and be on my way. Because they know better. They wouldn't fucking go up there, in this kind of shit. So I'm like, this is awkward. Now I'm in the middle. I mean, I'm literally 40 minutes by car probably to the next house that's going to have somebody in it.
Right.
There's maybe houses every, 2 or 3 minutes by car. But nobody lives up there in that kind of weather. So I'm like, I think I'm pretty cool. Put it in for low. I'm like, oh, creep. I'll go about a foot. Slides right back down. And I'm like, man. So I'm like, I got to get into the thick snow. And then, the 4-wheel will pay off. Mm-hmm. And I just kept sliding in. Finally, I got floor mats. And the one thing that saved me is in the bed of my truck, I have this 1-inch thick rubber liner. I have the plastic bed liner, but then I have a rubber mat that's in there. Somebody just gave it to me one day. It was like, oh, you want this? I'm like, yeah. Keeps tools and shit from sliding while I'm driving. So anyway, I had to lay that whole thing and then creep and then park. And then as I go to move it, the truck would start sliding and I'd jam it underneath. And, oh, dude, it was bad. My point is, you can end up in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. It can happen. It does happen. and you got to be able to stay warm.
Right.
You're going to have to be able to, survive. There was no way I could have called somebody or done anything.
Right.
I mean, I could have walked for 2 hours, but it was freaking cold out. And
right. You don't want to do that.
That's not something I want to do.
Prepared to do that, though.
You got to be ready. And that's the thing. And, I go out driving. I'm like, I can wear a T-shirt. I'm in my truck with the heat, and I don't care. And you get out, you don't have a warm coat. You don't have the blankets. You don't have... you need to plan a little bit for that.
Right.
So that's
my
winter story,
With the cars. Yep. I mean, your everyday drive should have an everyday carry that takes care of you in those sorts of situations.
And that's, I was also thinking about, like, if I work in an office building, and I maybe have the briefcase or whatever, I don't know. I don't know what people do. I've never had a job like that. But if I'm going to a desk every day, who's to say you don't have the gun you keep in the desk? Mm-hmm. And all right, you're paranoid, you don't want to leave it. And I'm saying, you put it in your briefcase at the end of the day and you take it home. That way, it might not have to be on your person, but if something happens, somebody comes into the building, you're good to go. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the answer. And I'm talking about if you can't have it concealed on your person. Right. It just isn't going to work, where people aren't going to see it. Again, if you're a little more paranoid, maybe you buy one of those fingerprint safes in your desk, in your gun desk, in your desk for your gun.
For your gun.
Stuff like that. You got to think outside the box, I mean, maybe if you're going to work at the same place, maybe you have a little go bag that you leave there. Maybe you have a locker, you have a desk, you have something that you can just leave, Hey, I got a first aid kit there.
Right.
Or maybe you talk to the people you work with and say, hey, we need a company first aid kit that, or maybe you just buy it and put it in there. You don't even need to be all that organized and formal, but be able to take care of yourself. You really should have some kind of bandage and way to stop bleeding, especially if you're somebody who's working around machinery, something like that all the time.
Right.
You need to have options.
Right. Busted knuckles are an everyday occurrence.
Yeah, I'm not, not talking about that, but you get the big gash where you're bleeding out.
Yeah, it's good to have something like that. You don't want to be wrapping that greasy T-shirt that you have in the back seat around your arm if you can help.
You do what you gotta.
Yeah. It's one of those things, though, that with a vehicle, you can add to it as you go.
Yes.
You can add... get the tire pressure thing from AutoZone for $2. Keep an extra quart of oil and keep an extra. A lot of the times I'll carry a gas can with a couple extra gallons.
I'll tell you, with my kids, and it's funny, I never caught on to this, but my kids started getting flat tires all the time, and he looks to me as the man who knows everything and whatever. So I finally broke down, because I just go to the mechanic and I'm like, fix this shit. I don't know. I might change the tire. I'm not saying I won't change a tire, but I'm saying I don't usually patch my own or do whatever. Mm-hmm. So my kid comes to me, I'm too cheap to go to the mechanic. I can't, what do they charge, like $10 or so? I don't know. But he's a scared little girl trapped in a boy's body and, whatever. I'm sure he's going to listen to this and we'll hear about it. But anyway.
Just don't say which
kid. All right, it's probably one of the girls.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Go with that.
Yeah, they don't drive yet. But, so anyway, I go and buy the patch kit. It's nothing. It takes up no space.
Right.
You spend like $6.
Yeah.
I can plug a tire in like 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's nothing.
It's no problem.
No problem. You patch your tire. Now, and honestly, most of the time you can kind of limp to where you can get air or whatever, depending on the leak you have. But just the same, maybe you buy one of those plug in your cigarette lighter air compressors. Mm-hmm. I heard they kind of suck. They're a little slow to fill up. But you know what? If you're on the side of the road and you patch your tire and you fill it up, and then it's fixed. You don't even have to change the tire. Same amount of time, and you're already problem solved back on the road, and you don't even have to deal with it later.
Right.
That's something to think about. It's this little bit of planning, foresight. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one of the shops I work at has the patch kit in there, and it was nothing. There was nothing. I had a nail, picked up a nail, and it was 10 minutes, I think, it took me to take the tire off, plug it, and put the tire back on.
Yeah, but you don't even have to pull it off.
Mm-hmm. No, not if you can find it easily.
Yeah, if you can find it, right.
Mine was a little bit of a,
okay.
Search
that's a different story. Yeah. And actually, like in my work van, I even have the soapy water looking for, freon leaks and gas leaks and different things like that. I actually carry around a jar of soapy water and, we're ready to go. But, so that's it. I mean, any other situations you're thinking of, or is that about cover it?
Nothing that jumps to mind. Okay. Jumper cables, though, I think I mentioned that. That should be a standard thing.
That's kind of being a man.
That's with the jack,
My wife always laughs, and again, this isn't on me. This is all her, but she came kind of prepared with jumper cables and stuff long before she met me, and she always tells me, people will come into work. Oh, do you think that guy would have jumper cables? And she's like, what do you mean? I have jumper cables. What do you mean? And she'll go over. She's always ready to go, and that's basic. You shouldn't send your kids out without jumper cables,
right?
Come on, what does that cost? Right. Nothing.
The thing is, though, it used to be back in the 70s and the 80s, even the 90s, that your car might just not start.
Yeah.
Newer cars, you don't necessarily have that issue. You know something's going wrong before it goes wrong. But, most of the cars that we get for our kids, or our kids get themselves, are kind of older, cheap, shitty cars.
Cheap, shitty cars.
And so you have to make sure that they're prepared and they know how to change a tire, how to jump start a car.
And have them do it. Find out that, hey, those lug nuts are way too tight. Somebody did it with an impact gun,
right? And
they're never going to get it. You know what? Make sure your kids can get it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had freaking ones, and I'm a big guy, and I have some pry bars and different things. I've had ones that I can't freaking get off.
Yeah, I had a hard time with one.
It happens sometimes.
Flat tire a couple weeks ago, and I had to stand on the tire iron and kind of jump on it before I got it to move.
I mean, I would say bare minimum. I really like a multi-tool. Definitely a knife. You really should have a flashlight. You need some way to start a fire.
Right.
You need to, and basically, if you're not the guy who can find food, we talked about foraging on this podcast. With basic trapping, hunting, this kind of thing. A lot of the guys, especially preppers, you're going to know how to do that. Maybe you don't need to be so worried. But having a little water, a little extra food, a little something in your car, not a bad idea. And just be able to take care of yourselves. And you know what? More and more we hear about hoodlums, stopping cars on the street and just wanting to beat people up. Maybe a little, protection, a little self-defense might be a good thing in order.
Mm-hmm. Good tool to have in the box.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that pretty much covers everything we wanted to get to tonight.
Yeah? No, that sounds about right.
We're talking about doing maybe a trapping show in the future.
Trapping could be in the near future. I think next week.
All right.
Otherwise, stay safe. Maybe leave us a review on the iTunes. Let us know how we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe tell a friend. Spread the word. We're getting antsy. We want to see some numbers. Want to see some more listeners. Seems like we have about 700-800 people download each podcast.
Mm-hmm.
See those numbers go up a little bit. Make it worth our time.
Uh-huh.
Let us know that, somebody's out there listening. We appreciate it.
Right. Now, if you got suggestions,
email.
Go ahead and, send us an email.
preppingbadass@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today. Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.